Right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol NIO, NEO Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So, NEO has been growing exponentially, and it still has a lot of room for growth according to what analysts have said it's going to be, right? A lot of people are shooting for like $40, $50 and upwards on the value of this company per share. We're currently right now at 35.60, and there's still room to reach those numbers. Now, it has been growing over time. So as we've stated in all the previous videos, and if you haven't had a chance to check them out so you can see how this has been behaving over time. But you could see that every time it runs up, it does that sideways movement. It ran up, sideways movement, and so forth. And it's been following that sort of trajectory as it's been going up. Now, the sideways movement every time is lasting less and less amount of time before it runs up. And one thing another thing that's interesting here is the 50-day moving average is catching up to the price, and the bulls don't let it hit it. They jump up away from it, and it happened here again, and they're jumping up away from it. So as long as the bulls stay above the 50-day moving average and moving away from it, they're going to continue to hit newer highs. Another interesting thing about NEO currently is that in the last week, it's the #1 traded stock, and in the last month is the #1 traded stock. So this is going for right now, I think up to November. I don't think it does like the whole 30 days all the way back to October. But for most of October, it was the #1 traded stock, and it currently is the #1 traded stock since the beginning of this month, which is literally only 2 days, because the first was a Sunday and here we are on Monday and Tuesday. If it continues in this sort of rally and in this form of volume, it may even be the most traded stock this week and for the month and for every single day. We're going to have to see how it continues to play out, but the most important thing is, if it's the most traded stock, you want to see how much volume is coming in. That's a really good sign. So a lot of this volume is probably coming in. Not a lot of it is coming out. So 214.998 million in volume of shares. Most of that is probably purchases of people jumping into the stock, not getting out. Obviously, there's going to be volume on the way out because there's people that play both ways, or they're looking at a point of like, okay, I got in down here, then let me just go ahead and dilute some of my shares, so forth. Whatever it is, profit taking or fear or uncertainty of, whoa, this hit new highs. I didn't think it would hit that. My price target was $30, and that's where I wanted to cash out my profits. And whatever happens after, I mean, I can't really hold myself accountable. I had a goal, and then that's it. You know, some investors have a goal, and that's it. So that's cool. That's fine. But as you see in the chart, it's been growing. It's been hitting newer highs, and it broke through resistance. It's above the 50-day moving average, and we're going to want to look at this closely for tomorrow. So every investor that's already invested in NEO, obviously, you'll have to make a decision of getting more shares or actually going ahead and holding what you have. And anybody that's a first-time viewer of this or has not really jumped into NEO and has been thinking about it, I wouldn't hold you back from making a decision that you can still possibly profit from. But this is the highest that the stock has ever reached in the trajectory of its time, right? So we are at new highs, and for this to continue to hit new highs, it needs to break through resistance. So super important number to go ahead and continue to pull this up. Now, again, analysis are saying this is going to go up to 40, 50, maybe upwards to 60. So I'm not saying it's too late or not, but do your due diligence and do your research before making a decision if this is your first time coming across NEO or you've been contemplating getting into NEO. It's never too late to be part of it, but also you don't want to end up at a point where you came in at the peak. And I'm not saying that it won't break through this number, but for some reason it goes in another trajectory, and then now you are actually in the stock, not at the wrong time, but at one of its highest moments in the history of NIO. Now, NIO has potential, and NIO is legitimate company, so the growth is there. And one of the best things about NIO is that it is actually named to be one of the most, to actually be able to compete with Tesla. That's a really good sign. I mean, they call it the Chinese Tesla. If you look it up everywhere, you could see different things about it, but it literally is the one company. I know there's a lot of EV companies out there introducing batteries, introducing new technology, new innovations, big trucks, and so forth. Those are all good, great EV companies in their own sector, but this is focusing on the main sector of purchasing vehicles, which is SUVs, mid-size sedans, and regular cars that most people are actually going to buy to drive daily. That's what Tesla focuses on as well. So this is one of the companies that's only going to be able right now in modern day to go head to head and compete with Tesla. Now they're going to have to try to beat Tesla when it comes to pricing and quality, and Tesla's trying to get ahead of that with making a cheaper version car, and I would love to see your guys' insight on that. But NIO has the potential to be the Tesla in China, or actually expand out internationally as well. As of right now, NIO is China based, and I'm not sure if they've expanded outside of their country, but I do know that they're selling units and they're actually producing a product. This isn't an EV company that we're waiting to see what their innovation is or pre-orders. They're actually selling product. There's physical product on the streets and being used. So that's one of the main things that's creating this whole entire attractiveness to investors to be part of. So let's look at what's important for tomorrow. So right here, we do have a support level here, but this is way too narrow. So I actually want to spread this out. This is the lowest point that it reached before the bullish run, but that's such a spread here because it even breaks through the lowest point as it started. So I chose the second lowest point here as a point of reference. And then also you can use this point of reference down here at 32.79. If it breaks through that, I mean, we've broken through support, we've broken through the 50-day moving average, and we're getting deeper into bearish territory. But I don't think the volatility would be that significant. That would be actually a concern of profit taking, uncertainty, and fear. So let's go ahead and see here what's our resistance level. For the bulls to maintain this chart and keep this going up, they need to break through 35.87. They need to turn that into a support and pull away from it. They need to pull away from it significantly so that they can continue this momentum and this run to pull away from the 50-day moving average. And the 50-day moving average is 33.37. I'd write that down. As long as we're above it, we're in bullish territory. The moment we're below it, we're in bearish territory. So for the bulls to maintain control and not have the 50-day moving average catch up to the price, they need to break through 35.87, turn that into a support, and start to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. So super important for the bulls. Now back here at support, it is 33.59. This is one of the lowest points before that hard dip and before the bullish run again, and that's 33.59. If this gets broken through, obviously you had all this time to go ahead and analyze the chart and see what's going on. But if the bulls can go ahead and bounce back before it breaks through it, then we're still in bullish territory, but I would really monitor the behavior of this stock. Now, if it crosses it, there's a very small window between 33.59 and 33.37 to see who is dominating the chart. If the bulls are dominating the chart or the bears dominating the chart. So keep that in mind. Now, 33.59 is a large spread. So I would use this point as a reference to know where it might be heading. And that point right here is 35.02. But you're still in bullish territory if it breaks through 35.02. But at least it lets us as investors have an indication of where this might be heading. But you do have that window between 35.02 and 33.59 to see if you're still in bullish territory. Is it kind of hanging out? Are the bulls trying to reappear to aim towards the resistance, which is 35.87? Or is this getting closer to 33.59? If it crosses 33.59, they're not that far away, the bears, from crossing the 50-day moving average and getting back into bearish territory. So super important to keep in mind. Pay close attention to these numbers. Watch the behavior of the stock. And again, the bulls need to break through 35.87. They got rejected there, and this is the highest valuation that the stock has reached. And if it breaks away from it, it can pull away from the 50-day moving average to reach new highs and new resistance levels and stop this from catching up to it. Because if it does, it's going to give leverage to the bears to then cross it and start getting this one down into bearish territory and to newer lows and new support levels. So keep that in mind. As always, I hope that these cues are helpful and informative for every single investor to go ahead and be well equipped for tomorrow's trading day. And if you feel encouraged and inclined to subscribe, please do so. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.